People often talk about home pages and product pages and even contact us pages because they're the pages that your customers are going to see the most. But one thing most people don't talk about is actually some just general best practices with customer service. Now, I've said this as the title, it's best practices for customer service when you're drop shipping, but realistically it goes a little bit further than that. So you can see all the bullet points on my screen here. That's exactly what I'm going to talk about, and I'll break it down. At the bottom bar, timeline bar, whatever you call it, you'll be able to click on each section. So if you want to skip to the next section, it'll be labeled at the bottom there, so you don't have to listen to me ramble on. So the first thing I want to talk about is reply to the customers as soon as you physically can. Now, this is obviously mainly to live chats and emails. If you've listened to audiobooks or read a couple of articles on like how to work more efficiently, you're going to notice a lot of people say batching, which is basically, say if you leave all of your emails until 6 p.m. and then you just bash them out and you respond to everyone straight away on that at 6 p.m. It's really good in terms of efficiency because you're solely focused on that. However, it's not the best in terms of customer service. So you can respond to customers by just constantly having your email open, or alternatively, you can obviously hire a VA to do it for you. So the main thing is, if you're a customer, if you've got a problem or with an order with another company, or you want to refund, or even if you've just got a question, you want to be fresh in that person's mind, and you want to fill them with confidence. So if it's going to take you 6 hours, maybe 8, 10 hours to get back to a customer, that's not good. You want to get back ideally within the first couple of minutes, or obviously if you can't do that, maybe half an hour to an hour. You don't really want to leave it too far past that because you want customers to be filled with confidence that you're going to be able to be easily contactable. So the next thing is don't think about your own wallet when refunding. It's a bit out there, it's probably a little bit controversial, and obviously it's not exactly a golden rule. It's a case-by-case basis, but the reason why I leave it in here is because I'm part of a Facebook mastermind group when I bought a course a while back, and I saw in there the other day that basically someone had sold something, and after a month, so 4 weeks, the customer had got in touch with the seller and said, it hasn't arrived, I want a refund. But they weren't particularly rude about it. They're just like, it hasn't arrived, it's been 4 weeks, I want a refund. And the person posted in the group, and the comments are just astonished me. They were saying, if she paid for shipping, refund her that. The person's waited 4 weeks. That's not acceptable unless you clearly outline that in your website. If you say 7 to 15 days, that's a long time to wait. But if it takes 4 weeks, refund the person. Oftentimes, if you're sourcing things from AliExpress or even eBay, they're not going to be very expensive. So realistically, just refund it. It's always going to be better to refund the customer, and they can go and tell their friends or family, even if they were annoyed, like, it took 4 weeks, hasn't even arrived yet, but at least they gave me my money back. If you were to refuse to give them the money back, even after waiting 4 weeks, they'd be, more than annoyed. I honestly wouldn't touch it. I just refund them the money before it even got to that point, and just apologize profusely. Let them have the product, whatever it is, and just don't think about your wallet when you're doing it. It sucks when you have to refund customers, but sometimes things happen. Actually, I'll give you an example recently. I started selling custom printed mugs on my store. I put them on the website, not thinking anyone will buy it. Literally the day that it went on, I got a sale. So instead of contacting an eBay supplier, which I've talked about in my previous video, which I'll link in the description, I actually just panicked and went on Printful. It cost me £15. I only sold it for £18. And it took a week and a half, and it still hadn't got to the customer. The customer contacted me saying, I want to leave a review, but I haven't actually received my mug. I apologised profusely, gave her her money back. I said, I really do apologise. I think her name was Susan. So I said, Susan, I really do apologise. I've given you your money back. Hopefully it arrives in the next few days. Anyway, it has. She's left a review. She was happy with the service that she got. And at the end of the day, I've lost £15. It's really not a big deal. You just go on to the next sale. It's not a big deal. So don't think about your wallet when you're refunding. So under promise and over deliver. Now, obviously, that was an example of me failing to do that. But under promise and over deliver is it's pretty self-explanatory. But you can do this really easily with delivery at times. So basically, if you say Say if you use my guide previously, which I'll link in the description, and you source the product from eBay rather than AliExpress, and you say on your website it's going to take 3 to 5 days or even 7 to 15 days, and someone still buys it, and then it arrives in 3 or 4, or even better yet, 2 or 3 days, that's brilliant. You've underpromised, you've over-delivered, the person's excited it's arrived sooner, and they're happy with your service that you've given them, oftentimes at no extra cost. So if you're going to say it's going to take 3 to 5 days, don't charge shipping, and then pay for the upgraded delivery cost and get it there in 2 days. Short term, going to be terrible for your wallet. Long term, you're going to get a customer who knows you can deliver a quality product quickly, and you've got good communication on the emails. So the next thing is be polite, but don't always be professional. Now this is a bit of a controversial one. It's a bit open-ended for a reason. So when I send my confirmation emails to customers to say that the product's being sent out, I don't actually type it very professionally. It's I'll use my name as an example. It'll be a hi Connor. I've sent your order over to our printing partner. They're going to get that prepped and printed this afternoon, dispatch it tomorrow, and deliver it shortly thereafter. So reasonably professional there. And then I'm going to put underneath that, I said I'm going to send you a separate email with an order confirmation with a cheeky little discount in, and then a laughing emoji, or a smiley emoji. So it's not super professional, because they know, as they say on my website, it's myself, my artist, and a printer. We're a small team. On my emails, I put Connor Clements and then my company and the founder. So, they know it's just me and, two other gents. So I can get away with being a little bit cheeky that way. Now, if you were a faceless brand and you didn't put your name on the emails, it was just, your brand X owner or brand X customer service, and you started trying to be funny in your emails or even in your email campaigns, it's not going to work for you. Because someone doesn't have a face to attach it to or a name to attach it to, and it just seems strange that if you're buying from a company that you don't know about on an impulse buy, that they're being a bit rude or cheeky in your emails. It's just a little bit strange. So be polite, but don't always be professional, but keep in mind that you're going to want to have a little bit of a personal brand behind it. So the next thing is having a phone number for someone to call. The reason why this is not talked about as much is mainly because a lot of people want to lower the barrier to entry into dropshipping, which is great for their YouTube numbers and for their course sales. But realistically, you want a phone number on your website. I can't tell you how annoying it is trying to get hold of Etsy when you can't get a phone number. Now, you've got a company as big as eBay who sometimes the emails can take quite a while for them to get back to you, but you can give them a call and you can get your question answered really quickly. On Etsy, it's nothing but just annoyance having to contact people by email or try and tweet at them and not get a response. I actually contacted Invato, or they're called Theme Forest, after I was trying to get a refund for a theme that I bought that was absolutely terrible. It was about $60 so it was a fair bit of money. So I contacted them and I said I wanted my money back, and it had been 9 days since I put in the request and I didn't hear a single thing, and there's no phone number to call. It's so frustrating. Have a phone number. I've had mine on my website for months. I probably received about 6 or 7 phone calls. Not many people use it, but I can promise you the ones that do call you are the ones that are going to convert. Same thing with live chat. The people who are using live chat are most likely going to convert. Just be polite and answer the questions that they have. So the next thing is, don't be unethical and set your customers up for a surprise. So this is another pet hate of mine with dropshipping. I've talked about it in another video. If you're going to ship from China, you're adamant you're going to ship from China. You can't source your product on eBay. You can't source your product through AliExpress, like sellers that are shipping from Spain, Italy, France, etc. As I've talked about in my previous video, if you can't do that and you are going to ship from China, please don't do what Oberlo tell you to do, and other gurus, where they say this product is in such high demand that it's going to take 7 to 15 days. It's a lie. Okay, don't lie to your customers. Now, are you going to say, if you replace that with, at the moment, even if it's due to COVID, or you simply don't want to invest that much money to get the stock over here, you can just say, at the moment, we're currently sending all of our orders directly from our manufacturer's or supplier's factory. This allows us to ship worldwide, or this facilitates worldwide shipping at no cost. You're not lying. It doesn't. You're not saying this comes from China and the perception of Chinese products is poor. You're saying this comes directly from the manufacturer's factory or workshop, boutique, whatever. So you're saying it's coming directly from there, and because of that, and because you're offering worldwide shipping, it's going to take that little bit longer. That's perfectly acceptable. You're not lying. You're giving a good reason why, and you're being honest. It's coming from the manufacturer. So the next thing is to don't be a pushover when a customer's in the wrong. Now, I've been guilty of this a little bit in the past. Now, especially when you don't have a lot of money to start up with and you're not sure about giving refunds, like I talked about when I said don't think about your wallet when you're refunding. So this sounds slightly contradictory. But for example, we sent out a portrait. It's got fragile tape wrapped around several times in the middle. The person knew it was a canvas inside and they took a knife, stabbed the canvas. I wasn't prepared to cover the cost of that. And I don't think anyone should be. It's fragile. It's got, you ordered it, and yet you still stab it with a knife. Unfortunately, I can cover most things, and I am actually willing to cover most things, but I'm not going to cover that. So if you have a customer like that, and they say, it doesn't say that you can't cut it, or you shouldn't cut it. You don't say use common sense, because that would be rude, but just say, unfortunately, it's a canvas, or whatever the product, it's a canvas, we've got fragile tape on there, you knew it was arriving, and you chose to use a knife, and unfortunately, it cut the canvas. We simply can't cover that cost. However, I will give you a reduced rate for the reprint cost. So if it costs me, $17.99 to get it sent out, maybe I'm going to offer it for 10, just to give him, so he's not as angry. But again, don't be a pushover if your customer's in the wrong. But in the same vein, don't think about your wallet when you're refunding. They sound like they contradict, but honestly, most of the time it doesn't. It's pretty clear cut what you should do. And in terms of the surprise, well, you can call it a couple things with a surprise. One is if you're sending products from AliExpress and it's over £15 and they declare that, then when it arrives to your customer's property, they're going to be charged for the duty on it. So obviously you don't want that to happen. But again, the surprise is if you're telling your customers it's going to be 7 to 15 days and it takes 20 days, 30 days, and you're pushing it back and you're pushing it back. Either find a better supplier, faster supplier, find it in a different country, use something like eBay, even Amazon if you could get it cheap enough. But again, I would mainly stick with eBay and my other methods that I talked about in that other video. So don't set your customers up for surprises. It's not fun for them. They're just going to say negative things about your brand to their customers, not necessarily online, but either way. For example, because I sell pet products, and if I upset someone who really loves pets, they're not going to want to tell their other friends who own pets at work, or that they go Zumba with, or something like that. I don't know, but just don't set your customers up for surprises. It's customer service 101. So the last thing is your customer isn't a bank, and your communication shouldn't always be about making you money. Now, this one's kind of a bit a pill to swallow, and I'm guilty of this on my emails when I send them out on Klaviyo. When I have a look on my campaigns, nearly every single one so far has been this is a new product, this is a discount, you're in a VIP section because they bought so many times, here's a special discount for you. I'm guilty for it. That's not the way you should speak to customers. There's a general rule where it's basically, say if you send one email every week, 3 of those emails should be value-giving emails or value-giving emails, and one of them should be an attempt to sell. So what that means for, let's say if you're in the pet niche, because I'm in the pet niche, so I'm going to use it as an example. Because my brand revolves around people sending in pictures of their pets, I know for a fact when I look on Instagram that there's loads of people trying to grow Instagram accounts for the dogs or the cats or the horses or the lizards or whatever. So it's worth it for me to send out an email saying, here's the top 6 ways to drastically increase your growth on Instagram. Now, you might think that's a little strange considering I've sold them a portrait, or they bought a portrait, sorry. Why am I sending them tips on how to grow social media? The reason is because a lot of people honestly do have custom accounts for their pets and dogs and cats and lizards, etc., etc. And if you grow them, you can easily get companies like myself, or if you're selling pet products, they're the people that you go out and you go out and try and message and say, listen, we'll send you out a product, please can you do a review, or can you make a post up and then we'll give you a discount code or stuff like that. So realistically, it is helpful content, because if people do have those type of accounts, I've just shown them how to grow their account, and hopefully it means that maybe 6 months, 12 months in the future, they shoot me a message on Instagram saying, I've built my account, would you like to sponsor me? And potentially you could build that relationship there. So it's just a couple of things to think about. It was quite a long, drawn out video for what it was, but it is important to think about customer service when it comes to selling dropshipping products, or products in general, but especially with dropshipping, not many people talk about it. So if you have any specific requests for videos, just pop them in the comments, or if you have any actual questions, just pop it in the comments and I'll respond to every single comment. Thanks very much, guys. Take care.